Hello, Ian. Sir Ian, can you hear us?
I'm getting you now, boys.
Oh, look at
Sir Ian, pleasure to have you on board the Ruck It today. How are you, mate?
All right, I'm just going to pass this over to. Can you just give that to Kat and she can. My grandson's ringing me from Australia, but I can speak to him later.
Yeah. Put him on hold, mate. The family's not important. You heard Boris Johnson. It's all about strangers in the park. I thought you might have been passing a drink or something, or what was? I saw on your Twitter yesterday you're filming a bit of drinking games going on in the backyard, and I couldn't work out what that member. Well, what member of the family was it, and what he put in his mouth? What was it?
Well, it's actually he's a big tough rugby player, isn't he? Ricardo plays for Cardiff.
Oh, good lad.
Yeah, so there you go, you rugby boys. They're forwards and backs, but. No, he's playing at number 7, Cardiff Blues. That's James, and he's getting extremely bored. But he had the whole egg, so his thing was, the real boys put the egg in and eat the whole thing, and then 30 seconds later, boom, out it came.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Was it pickled of any sort, or is it just a plain egg?
No, well, you have a egg first, then a spoonful of sugar, and then a large whiskey.
Wow. I mean, it's the way, mate. It's the way to go, isn't it? In lockdown.
What you don't know is, Ian, you had we picked an all-time sporting 15 from different sports who would make. And I don't know whether you know this, but we had you as number 8. Nick Easter, he said, "Listen, you've got to have Sir Ian both for number 8." I don't know whether that. How do you feel about that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm very honoured. Very honoured. I think in my younger days. Hang on, sorry boys, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, you're right back again. No, I think in my younger days, but no, I think now I'm definitely number 8.
Yeah, good mate. Big hitter, soft, good hands. Give the backs an arse kicking, and king of the socials.
Well, I think I'll probably cover that.
King of the socials, mate. You're the judge in the court, in the pseudo court. Yeah. That's for sure.
No, I think you hold up in South Africa at the moment, but what's your take on? I mean, rugby's going through this very uncertain time, but cricket must be pretty much the same.
Yeah, we're talking now about biosecure grounds. As chairman of Durham, I'm quite involved with all this, and I don't actually really see us playing very much cricket, if any, this year. I think we're going to run out of time. Although I'm a little confused with the message from the government yesterday, so we'll wait and see how that pans out later on today. But we would love to play, even if it's just 5 games, 5 championship games, red ball games, the T20. You could play that, but again, it would all be behind closed doors.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's not the same, is it?
Nah. It's like a training session, isn't it, rather than a game?
No, exactly. I read something today. You don't have to cover this too much if you don't want to, but Ian Chappell was coming out saying that he thinks that ball tampering should be allowed in the game.
Well, I've never taken much notice of Ian.
No, you have. I was about to say what your relationship was like him. Obviously, big battles there. But they were talking about the saliva as well the last few weeks, weren't they? Bowlers wanting to shine the ball and having a wax and not having saliva as part of the, safety measures. I mean, is it just content for content's sake, or is it actually, going to be a realistic way of doing it? I mean, everyone's going to be handling it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it's complete garbage, isn't it? Because, as you say, the ball gets passed around all the time. So where do you draw the line? If it goes into the crowd, do you have to change that ball because it's been in the crowd? I mean, it's a never ending, isn't it? So I don't think that will happen. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, at the end of the day, he was a batsman, and I don't think he'd be saying he could tamper with the ball if he was playing still today.
No, he would. But he just wants to protect his averages, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. It makes a hell of a difference. And, it's an art. It's a skill to get it right. But when they do, the boys that were very good at it, it's amazing the difference, from being a flat, boring pitch and suddenly this ball starts whooping around. It's a different game.
I mean, just on that, actually. Do you think it's harder for bowlers now? Just talking probably about Test cricket than it used to be. Because there was more uncovered pitches, weren't there, back in the day? Which there wasn't a limitation to the bounce. There was probably a bit more ball tampering going on. No helmets for some. Very brave men, or stupid, whatever you want to say. But
well, there were helmets when I first started. Helmets were unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's easier for batsmen now? It's much more in favour of batsmen.
I think that batsmen that can hang around a bit more, they feel a bit more confident with the helmet on. But I think it's here to stay. It makes sense, the people. But the problem is that most guys, if you watch them when they have a helmet and the ball is bounced at them, they just literally quite often just go like that and turn their back. They don't watch the ball. And if you did that before helmets, well, you wouldn't play very long, would you? So, I think that, yes, it gives them more protection, but do they play it as well as they used to? Probably not. It's some batsmen benefit from it. Tail enders benefit from it, safety-wise as well. They're not very good. A lot of the guys are quite sure which end of the bat to hold. But the number 11 we used to know them have gone from the game. These guys all work on their batting. They can all bat a bit now.
Ian,
well, just about all of them, yeah.
Just about all of them. So
there's one or two spring to mind, yeah.
So there's not much to commentate at the moment. Just a question, and probably final question, really, about how are you enjoying lockdown? And secondly, I know you're doing a lot for your charity. I remember seeing on the news years ago, and I looked up your charity, and I'm staggered by the amount of miles you covered with your walking, but also now you've got this virtual walk you're asking people to do. But just tell us a little bit about your charity, and I'm staggered the amount of miles you used to do, over those years.
Well, we did 17 walks in total. How many thousands of miles we did, and with the training as well, because I used to go walking every day if I could, especially in the build-up to one of the big walks. So we did a lot of mileage. What we're asking, the virtual walk, it's pretty impossible to do it on the open roads as we did many years ago. So it was a problem. But the intensity of traffic and people getting more and more impatient, and you're holding them up and causing traffic. So that really can't be done. But you can do the virtual walking. So you can either do it on a treadmill, boring, or you can just you can measure your distance as you walk nowadays quite easily and very accurately. So there are many ways to do it, but it's just really to get people involved. Walking is a great exercise as well.
Yeah. And now you can go outside more than once. You can cock up miles easier. Yeah, we're very lucky because we've got quite a big property here, the farm, and what have you. So we've always been able to exercise. But what it must be like for people, who are stranded in inner cities for those 6 weeks, I don't.
So if we want to get involved, so where do our listeners go to? If you just want to tell us where to go.
So, mate, all they've got to do is just go onto the webpage, Botham Foundation, Beefy's Foundation, cool. And it's self-explanatory and make it as easy as we can for people to get involved. There's also we're putting together a virtual an auction where we're going to actually have people like Joe Root is going to do a lesson in the nets. You've got Dave Walder, Newcastle.
Yeah.
We got who else we got? Danny Willett is going to do some chipping and putting.
Right.
Who else is that, Kath? Oh, me? Yeah, I'm doing it.
What, a wine taste? Is it a wine taste?
Absolutely. Yeah, and then barbecue or a wine tasting, whatever. We'll work it out whichever way it works well. So we'll get the wine sent to the people who bid for it and get in. I think we'll do it probably myself and 4, maybe 6, see how it all pans out. But we'll do a virtual wine tasting, and then who knows, might even do it around a barbecue, whatever, make it more interesting.
Oh, sounds like fantastic prizes, that. And a good time. A good time as well. I think there'll be plenty to sign up, hopefully.
Well, I've just gone on the wagon as well because lockdown does take its toll.
What's the weight gain, Ian?
Oh, no more than 2 stone. So I'm on the wagon for a while, probably the next 5 or 6 weeks. I've got to do weeks anyway because of being vulnerable with asthma and what have you. So I've got to sit it out for a bit longer than everyone else. So yeah, it does take its toll, boys. It does. Great for the wine sales, though.
Yes,
the online sales are enormous. They're pumping. It's fantastic from that point of view. Mind, you're struggling in South Africa, right? You can't buy any booze. Mates of mine sending me emails. We still can't buy anything.
Yeah, well, I'm back in London now, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, they're not selling alcohol. I think it was absolute carnage in the supermarkets to begin with, riots and bricks being thrown and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they were selling cigarettes for a while in some as well, which.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, well, it's not a good idea in some of the parts there, but they don't seem to be struggling with the same numbers and cases as we are. But then again, I don't believe a lot about that counting. Before we go, Ian. Sorry. Legendary career. One of my sporting heroes. Obviously, picked you at number 8. Quick question. You've been asked this many times. Best batsman you played with, best bowler you played with or against?
Well,
either or.
Well, Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards. Viv Richards, by far the best batsman. I was lucky enough not just to play internationally against him, but I played domestically with him. And we had some great times. We had about 10 or 12 years down there together, at least, maybe more actually. But and I still keep in touch with him whenever I can. And he's certainly in the right place for lockdown, sitting on the beach in Antigua.
Nice and warm, yeah.
But Viv, in all formats of the game as well, he could adapt to 20-over games, 40-over, 50, 60-over test matches. His record was exceptional in all those formats. So Viv, and then you can take your pick, actually. There was about 12 of them, and they were all about 6 foot plus. About 100 miles an hour. And they were part of that magnificent West Indian setup where they control the game really for probably, 15 years, where they were the best side in the world. Quickest bowlers, people go right back to the start of it, the revolution, Michael Holding, Andy Roberts, Joel Garner, Colin Croft. And then you come through the periods, Malcolm Marshall, Courtney Walsh, Curtly Ambrose, the list goes on. So those guys were a real handful.
Ruck It, Kyran Bracken, Nick Easter, the brand new rugby podcast.